Hello guys. So what we are going to discuss today is we will talk about Jenkins. Okay, we'll talk about Jenkins. We'll talk about Terraform. So you know that I'm going to prepare a lot of series of videos actually. How you can do your CI/CD pipelines. Okay, how you can create a the small pipeline, how you can make it complicated, how you can deploy a pipeline on ECS, then how you can deploy on the Kubernetes, REKS, right? So all those things, but that's what I thought that the let's start with the basics one, because anybody who is starting with the any of the learning CI/CD pipeline, they need to understand the basics first, right? So I'm not going to talk about the theoretical part, like what Jenkins is, what Terraform is. So I'm hoping that the whoever is watching it, they know the basics already. Okay, so I'm going to talk about only the installation part, setting up the the ground where you can start playing, right? So the installation of Jenkins, that we are going to do it in today's, and then Terraform also will try to install, and I'll show you, like how you can see the versions and etc. That will be very basics. Okay, in the next video we'll talk about how we can start creating our uh, let's suppose EC2 I have to create from my Terraform code, right? And I want to create a simple pipeline. Those things I'm going to talk about in the next one. So let's crack on. Okay, well, okay, one more thing very important, that I'm going to do it everything in AWS free account. Okay, so you can also utilize the same one. Okay, so it's all free account that anybody can AWS on AWS, anybody can create it. There is no charge that you have to pay. Okay, so simple EC2 I'll create and I'll use it as a base machine. Okay, so even though if you have your base machine running in Azure or Google Cloud, that should be fine. Yeah, so I'll be referring base machine as a AWS. So the very first thing that I'm going to do it, let's create a machine in AWS. Okay, one more thing, that if you're creating a machine or EC2 in AWS, the basic things like VPC, subnet, internet gateway, okay, and routing, then subnet association. These 4 5 things are there, which is mandatory to have configured already in your account, so you can connect your system from outside. So I'm hoping that you have already done that. Even though if you don't have done it, there is a very simple configurations are there. I can create some other documentation if needed. Otherwise, if you're using the default configuration, default VPC and subnet, then also you can create it. Okay, so let's create a EC2 machine. Okay, and we'll try to install our Jenkins and Terraform on that EC2 machine. We'll see how they works actually. Okay, so I'll go launch. I've already logged in my account. Remember, I'm in the Mumbai region. You can be in whatever region you're using. Okay, so I will call it something Terraform base, a, a base machine from where I'm going to call all my repositories, all my the Terraform code I'll be calling from this Terraform base machine itself. Okay, so that's first configuration. Then I'll be using base machine as a Red Hat. Okay, Red Hat 8 is fine. Okay, the next configuration is, let it be. One more important term is, if you are testing, right? If you are testing it, so you know that the in AWS T2 micro is the free version. Okay, so if you are testing just for testing purpose, T2 micro is more than enough. You can play around on the T2 micro, which is, there is no charges for that. I'll be using T2 large because some other further enhancement I'm going to do it. So I might bit higher machine. Okay, so I'll be configuring it on the T2 large. Then key pair I have already created. Okay, if you don't have a key pair, just create it. Okay, this is very important segment, which is the network segment, right? In network segment, you have to select your VPC, a public subnet, okay, and auto assigning public IP. This is three very important configuration that you have to do while creating your EC2 machine, because if you don't do this configuration, you will not be able to connect your machine outside. There are the backend configuration also need to be done, which I have just mentioned like internet gateway, routing, all these things. So that's what I'm saying, that the hoping that you have already done it. Okay, then next one is select existing security group. I already have security group. If you don't have security group, select, create a security group. Only one thing you have to mention, you have to keep an eye that this works on Jenkins. Basically, Jenkins works on a port called 8080. So that port you have to add it. Otherwise, if it is just testing purpose, you can, give all the permission to all the ports. So that should be fine for your testing purpose. But if you go in any industry or somewhere, they are giving a particular port and particular permission. Okay. So even though if you don't have, you can just create, use the create security group and give permission. That should be fine. Okay. If you really want, I can show you. Like, let's suppose I'll say Jenkins. I'm creating a security group. Okay. So let's suppose you don't have, so you can do it in this way. Okay. This one is important. So inbound and outbound rule, right? That's very important that you have to add it. Okay. So let's select it. Say it anywhere. Okay. And source type anywhere. That should be fine. Okay, this one is particularly for the TCP. Okay, let me add one more, which will be for our security group, port 8080. Basically, so I can give as a TCP, right? But I'll not go because, it's just for our practice purpose. So I'll just give all traffic. Okay, and source I'll give it a 0.0.0. Means I'm just opening. So anybody can open that public server, okay, from the internet. So that should be fine because, it's just a practice purpose. In the same way, you can do it. Okay, and if I'll say launch instance, I'll go and running. So the machine should be coming in a minute. Yeah, this is the machine which is coming, right? Meanwhile, I'll just show you the security group which I have created, how it looks like. So this is the security group section. If you come here, the security group which we have selected, right? This is the Jenkins we have just created. So inbound and outbound rules are there. Okay, so if you see here, inbound, okay, so I have given all traffic here, fine. And outbound traffic should be also all traffic. Means inbound means some traffic which is coming inside, and outbound means some traffic which is going outside, right? So that should be fine. Okay, it's initializing. Meanwhile, let's try connecting. So user is as usual EC2-user. This is the default user, you might be already aware. Okay, key pair I have already, you know selected. I have already created, so that's the same key pair I'm going to use. Okay, I'll become a sudo so that there should not be any problem. Let me change the configuration as well, a bit higher config, so that it is properly visible to you. Okay, now one thing is, I need installation, right? There are certain stages are there, certain steps are there that you have to follow to install Jenkins and Terraform, right? Both, if I want to install both Jenkins and Terraform. So what I have done, I have just created this script. Actually a simple script. There is no, hard and fast in this script. Actually, this is just a simple configuration it will do. You can see here, it is just installing, some prerequisite packages. Then it is doing some, the configuration and installation of Terraform, then some firewall setup, and then uh, Jenkins, finally Jenkins installation it is doing. Okay, so these are the setups that it is going to do it. Okay, so how we can install it? there is a multiple way, right? I can either you can just copy this entire script, okay, use uh, wget command, and run the this script. Okay, otherwise you can copy the content. I'll give this link into the description as well. You can copy the content, okay, paste it into the one sh file, give permission, and then run it. I think if you are, if you know about the Linux, you might be already aware, right? So let's try doing it in this way. Okay, so what I'll do, I need a wget, right? So I'll see if wget is available. Wget will not be available by default, so I'll go for installation of wget. Wget is a package which will download some package from the website, right? This is why wget is being used, right? So now again, as I said, there are multiple ways to do any particular work. Okay, so wget I am using so that this file, this jenkins.sh, will be directly downloaded on my machine and it will be get installed, right? Otherwise, the other ways are there. You can copy the contents, make a file jenkins.sh anywhere, okay, put it, change the permission, job done, right? So wget install will, okay, this is the package. So I'll say, okay, I'm going to save it in somewhere where tmp. Sorry. Okay, so simply I've just downloaded wherever I am. So doesn't matter wherever you are doing. So you have to give the permission chmod 755. You know that if you want to run any bash script, you need to give it execute permission, right? Then only you'll be able to run it. So now let's run this. Okay, so you can see the prerequisite packages. Some prerequisite packages are there that it is going to install. Okay, and if you see here, you see here there are some packages are there, right? Some wget, I've already installed it. Git, firewall, unzip, right? These are the packages which is on different places are required. So 3 4 sections are there. Prerequisite, then Terraform installation, then a firewall setup, right? And then starting an installation, starting the installation of Jenkins. So there's these 4 5 sections are there that we are going to do it. Now you can see here the packages are being installed. Okay, so I think the firewall it is trying to install it. Yeah, firewall is done. Then it is trying to do the unzip, the Terraform. Then now it will come to the Jenkins. Yeah, you can see the Jenkins it is trying to download. Might be a bit bigger in the size. It is 7 MB, so it might take some time. Okay, so that's installation done. Further, the service it is trying to trying to start actually Jenkins. So let it complete. Yeah, so we have reached till here. Okay, so if it is get started properly, I shall get a message called status. Okay, you can see active and running, right? Okay, one more thing you might have noticed that initially when we have started, our machine name was different. Some base default host name was coming, right? I've changed the host name as well. So if you go there in the package, you will see here, sorry, in the script, you will see I have given a command as well to change the host name. Okay, so it just changed the host name as well. My Jenkins is also running. Okay, so now what I'm going to do it. Okay, so I will try to run my Jenkins, right? Now how the Jenkins will be running? So Jenkins always run on port 8080. I told you, right? How I can get it? Okay, so let's go here in your machine. Get your public IP, go on web colon 8080. Get a public IP and put in a browser colon 8080. Okay, you'll see the first screen will be here. So the default password, the very first password will be at this location. Go on your base machine, do cat, okay, get this password. Okay, I'll just, if you give the initiated, it will, it will take it. So always remember there is some plugins are there. So just go for default plugins. You don't need to go for the, there is an option for that you can choose the plugins as well, like, what exactly you want, right? But if I don't want to go for that, there is a default one. So basically these plugins are important, like, let's suppose Marvin or any, there are, many plugins are there in the Jenkins. Okay, so if I want to go for one by one, I can choose, right? But so in that way, I can just have it. I can just choose any of the plugins. So I have just chosen the default plugins. You can see the Gradle and, right, pipeline, Git. All these are the default plugins are there, which is being installed. Okay, so let it get installed. Okay, always remember whatever things we are doing, this is everything is being done on your base machine. Okay, so one base machine is there. Using this base machine, basically you're doing all the installation on the different places. No, sorry, on the different folders and etc. So let the plugin completed. Then I'll show you how you can access your Jenkins and how you can create your first job. Okay, and then I'll stop this video because I'll not make it too long. So very initial things. Then in the second one, as I said, I'll start building a small pipeline. Then I'll increase the complexity. Later point of time, I'll make a pipeline which will build Kubernetes as well, Kubernetes and the ECS clusters as well, right? All those things I'm going to do it, but let's start with the basics one. Where is the status? Okay, now you can see here. So there are a lot of, right, GitHub branch, pipeline. I'll show you where exactly these things are going to come actually. So once your Jenkins is ready, you will see these, the plugins are there. There is a section as well in Jenkins where plugin you can maintain actually. If you want to install or uninstall some plugins, those possibilities are there in the Jenkins as well. Later point of time, there is a manage Jenkins place is there from where you can manage all these things. Okay, so it's almost completed. Okay, one more place that you can check is cd/where log Jenkins. Okay, this is the folder. Even though there is nothing got but this folder will be get by default get created. So logs folder, we can filter the logs here so that the Jenkins will start getting the logs. Okay, that's the basics one. Okay, now our installation is done. It will ask you to set up your first username. This is the same. Remember the username we can set up later point of time as well, but this is the first username actually, which we are going to use. Okay, so I'll give some basics one. Okay, any email ID, doesn't matter what you're putting it. Okay, it will give you URL. So either you can copy it, otherwise we already know, right, there is a public IP and the 8080. One more thing need to remember, public IP we are using here, otherwise elastic IP is one of the solution that can be also used. So because in public IP the problem is every time whenever you stop machine and start it again, the public IP will get changed, right? So if you want to avoid that, elastic IP is one of the solution that we'll talk about later in further some other videos. Okay, now you can see here, this is the first page of Jenkins. That's the raw first page is there. Okay, now will do two things here. I'll create one folder and I'll create your first job that you can just run and get to know what exactly it is doing, how it is doing, right? Everything. Now, if you click on this new item, okay, and I'll say, let's suppose production. So basically, the concept is the Jenkins can be kept into the different folders. Jenkins jobs can be kept into the different folders, right? So let's suppose I'll create the production. I'll say folder. Okay, there are a few informations are there. I'll just keep it default. I'll not change anything. Now you can see here I'm under the production folder, right? I'll try to create my first job here. So let's suppose I'll say here. Okay, and let's suppose I want version of some application. So I'm just giving you idea how the Jenkins can be utilized, right? I can do a tons of jobs with Jenkins, but this is the very basic one that I'm giving you, very basic one. Okay, so baby steps here. So I'll say version. I'll choose freestyle project. Okay, now, if you see here, there are few tabs are there: source code management, build triggers, build environment, right? I'll talk about everything in a separate videos, right? But right now, let's focus on the build only. Okay, the fourth section, which is the build. Okay, I just want to pass some commands on my base machine and get some information. Okay, now remember where exactly it can be useful. Let's suppose you have to pull some information from a lot of machines, right? So 10, 20 or 100 machine, that you can make a simple file or simple for loop, put on the Jenkins and call it from the Jenkins, right? And Jenkins will go and collect those information. And there is a lot of the pipeline can be created for these works, but I'm just giving you the basic one, right? So if I'll say execute cell from here, and let's suppose I want some information. So let's suppose I need the host name, okay, and then let's suppose I need uname hyphen a, okay, and I want to know the whether my Terraform got installed or not, okay. So I'll run the Terraform version as well. So it will just go on my base machine, check whether these things got installed or not. Let's suppose I need the Jenkins version as well. Okay, all these information it should print me. Okay, so let's save it out. Okay, once you save it, the version call, now you see here, right, under dashboard there is a production folder. Under production there is a version job, right? And if I want to run it, let's run it out. If I'll say build now, okay, it will just run it. Here you can see it is running. Okay, you can see success, right? Now, if you click on this job and click on console output, okay, it will show you some information. Now you see here what all the information I have asked, right? I've asked for Terraform host name, I asked for uname hyphen a, I asked for Terraform version, right? And I asked for Jenkins version as well, right? All these information have been given to me, right? Let's suppose I want to redirect it in some files, right? Those things every time it can be done. Okay, so this is all that I want to show you, and this is the first one. That's why I don't want to make it too long. Okay, just one important thing that I want to show you on your base machine. Actually, the place where everything this Jenkins library is being managed is Jenkins where live Jenkins. Okay, so if you do ll here, you can see all these files are there. If you go in workspace production, remember production, I've created the folder, right? Under production there is a version, that's a job that I have created. Okay, so right now nothing is there, but if you are selecting that, we will learn in the future that if I want to select some the artifact to be generated or some output should be coming, everything, and even though if I'm using git, so that it will clone something, that everything will be done here. Okay, in this place it will be done at this place. Okay, so just remember that whatever file, whatever the the job you are preparing, that job location will be this place, workspace. Under workspace there will be folder. On under that folder, that job name will be there. Okay, so that's what I want to show you, the very basic one. Your machine is ready now. Now you're good to play around. Okay, so thank you, thanks very much. Okay, that's all I want to share you today. Thank you.